Because I'm Filipino, I wish that the Philippines would know what to do in terms of like which alliance, or, really being self-sovereign as a country, because we would have not even been in World War One, in World War Two, if, it's my country is fully self-sovereign. So when you were talking about all that connection there, and Philippines is being used like as a pawn for anything that might happen in that part of the world, that's kind of my worry. And lately, I heard that, Philippines, there's a ongoing conversation about the Philippines as creating, or an industry for this defense manufacturing capability. So that's kind of like a concern, because I still have families there, and I do want to go home there in a way that it's peaceful. So thank you for all that
Right.
picture, the
And so for
wide
me,
picture.
that sure, yeah. And for me, that's those are the things that I look at too that cause me to it dampens my enthusiasm. I have a lot of friends who are very patriotic, often Americans, and they're very enthusiastic for the hope that that Trump is uh honestly pushing for a behind the scenes, behind his sometimes vile language that he always projects, but there is a hope that he's actually working for this positive US Russia China friendship, which I share in my heart. But the problem is I look at these data points as you just brought up, and this causes me to dampen my enthusiasm a little bit because I'm not seeing action flow through. Like if we do truly want peace with China, and we do recognize that China's deep state and our deep state in the West is the same deep state that's out to kill everybody above nations. If that's truly what we recognize, then we wouldn't do the things that we're doing as far as exacerbating military tensions between U.S. proxies that have been assets for the military industrial complex as the Philippines has suffered for well over a century. I mean, there were massacres, genocidal massacres carried out by U.S. militarists back under Teddy Roosevelt in the 1890s, which have created these systems of dependency and manipulation. Where now under Marcos Jr., you're hearing the most insane things. Like they've expanded U.S. military bases in the Philippines to use. When I look at the people who are, I'm like, okay, why are they expanding those military bases? Why is the U.S. getting more full access to these military systems? Well, it seems like you do have an agenda to prepare for an eventual war with China using their proxies like Taiwan, Japan, South Korea, Philippines, and U.S. military bases in Guam and other places in the Pacific. There's like 170,000 U.S. troops. It's growing in the Pacific. There's more belligerent military games with scenarios designed to prepare for an oncoming war with China. I've got Marcos Jr. on record saying that the Philippines will go to war with China to defend Taiwan's independence. What does Taiwan's independence mean? It's like Ukraine's independence. It doesn't mean anything. It's been a proxy for the U.S. military since the Cold War began, and the drug running KMT mafia that worked for Allen Dulles and the Nazis, or a bunch of unreconstructed Japanese fascists, for over 80 years. That's what, like, Taiwan has suffered that fate and is being used as a new Ukraine in a similar way that Japan has. Now, the Philippines is also saying that it will support Taiwan with the United States in any eventual war with China. What the hell is that? How many Filipinos have to die in that type of war? And it's so unnecessary. So if I saw that's what I'm saying. Like, if I saw some evidence that there was some effort to retract aggressive U.S. military maneuvers from the Pacific theater, I'd be like, okay, maybe I could be more enthusiastic. But until I see that, or at least, or like Brian Berletic has pointed out quite well, and he's done a very good job proving that the National Endowment for Democracy, did that go away? I mean, Trump did cut down vastly the U.S. aid. That's good. Okay, no more, U.S. taxpayer money for LGBT theater in Cambodia. Okay, fine. Okay, but the National Endowment for Democracy is what has done the heaviest regime change lifting under the guise of democracy movements now for over 40 years. Has that been shut down? No. They just actually passed a law just a month and a half ago, which I alluded to in that article that you brought up that I published on my Substack. And Brian Berletic, broke it down very well, that this new law that was just passed basically allows for the NED for the first time to not disclose where it puts its money. So they froze it for 2 seconds, then passed a law now for the first time saying that the NED doesn't have to show the world. So you can go to their website today, and Brian Berletic had screenshots of the website a few months ago, and the same pages, which used to say where the money was being spent, even though a lot of that was still being covered up, but it was still showing you enough to see where their money in Taiwan or Hong Kong or Ukraine or anywhere, you could see where it was going around the world. Now, nothing. There's nothing there. And for people who live there, that I know who live in Thailand or who live in Philippines, they tell me that it's expanding. Brian Berletic lives in Thailand. He could see the effects of where this money is going, and he's seeing that the regime change operations, the color revolution operations, are only expanding and becoming more sophisticated, which might have even had something to do with the recent clash between Cambodia and Thailand a while ago. Sorry, my internet's so bad. So, these are things that I really encourage people to pay attention to, these things, and not compartmentalize how they evaluate the world. That's part of my challenging task, I guess.